Jay-Z is worth $2.5 billion.
Hip-hop's first billionaire.
He got a house made out of Grammys.
Jay-Z understands better than anyone, passion is not the end game, but the entry point into building successful businesses. Always turning obstacles into opportunities, Jay has transformed a new music art form into a multi-billion-dollar brand. His cutthroat style has been denounced along the way, but his Brooklyn swagger and hustling hunger have come to redefine the Empire State of Mind. Nothing has more power to change your life than money. And there's no better country to get rich in than America. There's a million ways to get rich in this country, but I'm gonna tell you how the most successful did it. This is how to get rich in America. Number one thing I like about Jay-Z is he's from the street and he made it out. Unbelievable success. Starting with an independent record label, Jay-Z would go on to spawn multiple successful businesses, monetizing a lifestyle while all the while steering hip-hop to become a multi-billion-dollar industry, always looking upon art as his business. Jay's leveraged his brand into sports, restaurants, champagne, and a management firm that shaped and mentored other billion-dollar proteges. But to understand how this street hustler became a mogul, we need to go back to the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn, where a young Jay-Z finds himself on the wrong side of the law. Growing up in the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn, Jay-Z's dad leaves the family when he's only 11 years old. By 13, he goes into business with a friend who lives across the hall at Marcy. But Jay-Z's first venture is a risky one.
I was what you consider a hustler. Drug dealer. It's a harsh word, yeah.
It was one of the most lucrative occupations for a kid in the projects at the time, and it was the most dangerous. Jay-Z's low point in this dangerous profession would be found when he shot his own brother over some stolen jewelry. The incident would inspire Jay to change his path in life and coincided with the new phenomenon sweeping inner city neighborhoods in the 80s.
You don't understand? Well, goddamn, don't y'all know my status? I got my hand on your throat and my eye on your girl. Jay-Z the greatest niggas back and I shook up the world.
Jay finds mentorship from the rapper Jaz-O and starts to see rap as a way out of the projects, but he has no idea just how much music would actually save him. While Jay and Jaz-O are recording in London, a drug raid goes down in Jay-Z's home, and through sheer luck, he avoids getting arrested. He makes the most of this stroke of luck and works hard to establish himself as one of the best rappers in Brooklyn. But the music industry before the internet is a whole different animal, notorious for its barriers to entry. Barriers to entry are factors that make it difficult for a newcomer to enter into an industry. Look, in the 80s and 90s, a handful of major labels controlled the music industry because they have the money and infrastructure to produce, distribute, and promote the music of the artists they sign. If the major labels won't sign you, you're out of luck. Jay-Z doesn't give up. Instead, he turns an obstacle into an opportunity. The greatest entrepreneurs never stop when they hit a wall. Look, obstacles are great opportunities to make money, okay, and to grab market share because they stopped everybody else. If it weren't for the obstacle, you wouldn't have the opportunity. Just because they failed doesn't mean you will. Solve the problem, overcome the obstacle, and on the other side, I'll promise you, there's market share and there's profits. Jay-Z decides if no one will sign him, hey, he'll create his own label. But to do this, Jay-Z needed people who could add value and help him launch his music career. Here comes Kareem Biggs Burke, his money man, who put up $16,000. Then there was Dame Dash, a club and music promoter that helped get the word out about Jay-Z. With a single, a music video, and local buzz, the Roc-A-Fella crew goes to work pitching Jay-Z.
We started selling our own CDs and we built our own buzz, and then the record company came back to us.
As they form a distribution deal with Priority Records for Jay-Z's first album, Reasonable Doubt, Dame convinces Jay-Z that Roc-A-Fella should retain control of the masters. This would give them, the new label, long-term financial power, and Jay-Z would have control. Where other artists were making $1 per record sold, Jay-Z would make 4 times that in royalties. In 1997, Def Jam acquires 50% of Roc-A-Fella for $1.4 million, and Jay-Z officially becomes a millionaire. 1998 was a transformational year for rap artists. Their records outsold America's most popular music genre at the time, country. Jay-Z's third album, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, was a massive success and included his crossover hit, Hard Knock Life, an insanely unexpected duet between Little Orphan Annie and a former drug dealer. Hard Knock Life broke sales records with the highest grossing hip-hop tour of all time. Look, unlike a lot of artists, Jay-Z didn't just focus on creating his next album or next hit. He thought of ways to scale his brand while still maintaining the integrity of his core business. First, he starts signing other artists to Roc-A-Fella. When he signed them, he retained the rights to their masters. A little ironic when Jay-Z fought hard to own his own master. But Jay-Z knew Roc-A-Fella needed to own stake in their new artists and their future success. Jay-Z continued to build his empire by exploiting what he had already created. He saw an entirely new business that spoke to his existing fan base.
Well, I would make records and I would talk about like various like clothing brands.
Jay-Z then approached different clothing brands to see about a collaboration.
And they was like turning me away, like I don't think they understood.
Every fashion house rejects Sean Carter. Again, he's hit an obstacle.
So I was like, maybe I could just start my own thing, start my own clothing line.
Jay-Z and Dame bring 3 sewing machines to Roc-A-Fella office to start making Rocawear t-shirts. And they quickly realized they know a lot more about music than making clothes. Through Def Jam founder Russell Simmons, they make the right connections to build another complementary team. This time with the 2 apparel industry veterans, and Rocawear takes off.
Wouldn't have never thought I would see Jay-Z the head of a fashion line.
Sell clothing? Nope, not in this lifetime. Wasn't in my right mind.
Yeah.
With Rocawear, Jay-Z multiplies his potential to create wealth through brand extension. For a company, brand extension is a strategy that uses an existing brand name to promote new products. For an individual, brand extension means leveraging your personal brand to extend influence into new areas or industries. Jay-Z uses his reputation and personal brand as a rapper to give Rocawear an immediate brand identity. By 2001, Rocawear is making $100 million a year, bringing Jay-Z's net worth to $17 million. But he'd soon learn that in the blink of an eye, it can all come crashing down.
A top rap star is busted,
accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
A copy of Jay-Z's Hard Knock album was leaked before it was released. Jay-Z was furious that the bootleg copies would hurt record sales, so he took matters into his own hands.
Jay-Z allegedly plunged a knife into Rivera's stomach and smashed a bottle over his brother's head.
Jay-Z had grown up where you had to attack threats, business or personal, but that was when he had nothing to lose. Now, he had money to lose. It's 2001, and pleading guilty, Jay-Z is able to get off with probation. He took this lesson to heart and stayed out of legal trouble ever since. Jay-Z's music career continues to soar, and he looks for more brand extensions to keep building and expanding his empire. In 2003, he took his profits from Rocawear and invested them in a new venture, a luxury sports bar in the heart of Manhattan, the 4040 Club.
This Chelsea hotspot boasts marble floors, suede-covered walls, leather couches, and plenty of screens.
Jay-Z continues to look for new sectors that were deeply connected to his fan base and things he had a personal love for. He followed up his 4040 Club and all his connections to New York City sports teams by buying a small share in his favorite basketball team. At that time, they were called the New Jersey Nets.
I know that you have a big announcement. It's a name change according to the owners. What is that announcement?
Well, the ownership, we have decided that the official name for the Nets will be the Brooklyn Nets.
Next, he invested in the Barclays Center. Jay-Z's initial investment in the Nets is tiny, just $1 million for 1/15 of 1%. But his impact on the team would be massive.
He's, as I say, really smart, really good at marketing. Look, he really created our uniforms, our brand.
The Nets are counting on Jay-Z's personal brand to help establish a fresh and new identity as it looks to pivot from Jersey to Brooklyn, and Jay-Z knows it. Use your leverage. For Jay-Z's minimal investment, he's going to maximize everything he can get out of this deal. He gets a 40/40 club and Rocawear store located at the new Barclays Center. He gets a posh suite at the arena that usually costs $500,000 a year, and even co-owns the ad agency that the team uses. Not to mention the rap icon swagger that you get from owning an NBA team. For Jay-Z, it's a deal with high VOI. VOI is value on investment, while ROI is a return on investment. It's tangible. You can measure it. Dollar invested, dollar out. The VOI adds to that all the intangible benefits as well. Being an NBA owner elevates Jay-Z's brand of mogul. Instead of hitting obstacles at every turn, brands like Reebok are coming to Jay-Z.
Open the door for the next generation the way it was open for me.
Jay proposes his own shoe line where he can get a cut of the back-end profits, much like Michael Jordan's deal with Nike.
The shoe sold out in a couple of hours. That's 100,000 pairs at $150. His new shoe line grossed $1.5 million in one day.
And believe it or not, his next move is even bolder. At only 34 years old, Jay-Z announces his retirement from the rap game.
Got to a point where I was making like an album a year, every year since '96. So I was like, what more can I say as a solo artist?
Jay-Z and his partners sold their remaining stake in Roc-A-Fella to Def Jam for $10 million. In return, Def Jam got 100% of Jay-Z's record master rights. He and his business partners at Roc-A-Fella would part ways and be done. But Jay-Z was not done. In 2005, 1 year after Roc-A-Fella Def Jam deal was complete, Jay-Z cut a new deal with the label by himself.
Some buzz has been going around about maybe you becoming the president of Def Jam. Do you think
President
you want to
Carter,
take President Carter.
Yeah.
Jay-Z strikes a deal to become the president of Def Jam. He would cash in with a $10 million paycheck. He once again uses his leverage to negotiate back ownership of his masters that he's already sold. His entire catalog rakes in $5 million of passive income a year, and it's worth over $75 million and growing. The new deal with Def Jam brought Jay-Z out of retirement to release a new album. He got his masters back, becomes the CEO of the company, and signs new artists Rihanna and Ne-Yo to Def Jam. Jay-Z is an entrepreneur. He's coming into his own and learning how to cash in big on the brands he'd just been building. In 2007, Jay-Z sold Rocawear for $204 million while he kept creative control of it. It was a pattern that he will repeat over and over in his career. Build a brand, build it up, make money, sell it for a profit, retain control while keeping a percentage of the ongoing future profits. These brand extensions are turning Jay-Z into one of the richest, most successful artists on the planet. But these first ventures would turn out to be tiny compared to what Jay would later do. It's 2006 and Jay's running Def Jam. His net worth is about $150 million a year. He's already looking for the next opportunity to grow his empire.
We were celebrating being live. We was exploring all luxury products, and we happened upon a brand called Cristal.
At this point, Jay's been rapping about the champagne brand for years.
Sip the Chris and get pissy.
But in 2006, the maker of Cristal makes negative comments about rappers in a public interview. Jay-Z is not happy. So what does he do? He buys 50% of Armand de Brignac.
And it was just perfect to, build our own thing.
Once again, Jay-Z's turning negatives into positive. Don't get mad, he says, get rich. Every entrepreneur will face times where you're frustrated, infuriated. It's easy to get unfocused. But if you can channel those feelings and emotions into a strategic response, your company and your brand will come out even stronger. Jay-Z strategically uses his influence, rapping about Ace of Spades in a song from his new Kingdom Come album while dissing Cristal at the same time. In 2014, Jay-Z would buy the remaining 50% of the company to be the first rapper to wholly own a luxury champagne label. By 2014, that company is bringing in $13 million a year. Jay-Z's endorsement of the brand catapulted its popularity around the world.
This morning, Moet Hennessy announcing that it's going to be acquiring a 50% stake in luxury champagne brand Armand de Brignac.
In 2021, all his work's paid off, and he sold 50%. He owned 100%. He sells half the company back for $630 million. Money he would never have made if Cristal hadn't pissed him off. Don't get mad, get rich. In 2007, when Jay-Z's contract is up for negotiation with Def Jam, he's got bigger things on his mind. He leaves Def Jam and strikes a deal with Live Nation. His new partnership with Live Nation allows him to launch an all-encompassing entertainment company called Roc Nation that would bring artists, management, publishing, touring, production, and brand strategy under one roof, far beyond a standard record label. It was a mentorship for all his artists.
Because who better to coach the players than the people who played the game?
Take, for example, one of Jay's most famous artists who followed under his guidance for years, Rihanna. And then he mentored her in the same entrepreneurial philosophy as his, expanding her beyond music just like he did. Once Rihanna's contract is up with Def Jam, she follows Jay to Roc Nation. Jay's emphasis on mentorship is a trump card that helps him grow Roc Nation. Personal growth breeds loyalty. Whether you're a talent agency or a small business, you're competing to get the best possible people on your team and then make them better. Rihanna follows Jay to Roc Nation because his company isn't just about building his own empire, it's about building empires for the artists he represents.
Rihanna, one of music's biggest stars, is now a billionaire.
Rihanna would go on to become worth $1.4 billion. Jay-Z wants Roc Nation to not only represent entertainers, he wants to also represent athletes. But there's another obstacle Jay-Z will have to overcome.
He's gonna have to get out of the nets, right? If he's, you know, because you can't own the team, you're working on that?
League rules prevent team owners from representing athletes. So Jay-Z has to choose. Does he stay on as the owner of the Nets, or give it up and dive headlong into a far less certain world of athlete representation?
And the hip-hop mogul has already started selling off his shares, selling 1/15 of 1%.
Jay-Z trusted what he and his mentorship model could bring to repping athletes and decides that the opportunity cost would be way higher if he didn't follow that path. Opportunity cost is the potential foregone profit from a missed opportunity. The result of choosing one way or another way. If Jay-Z hadn't pursued the athlete representation, he would be, or felt like he'd be missing out on the chance for explosive growth for his company.
This was the first move, breaking the seal, so to speak, and getting into the sports representation business. Robinson Cano, a very well-known player for the New York Yankees.
Roc Nation would go on to represent hundreds of athletes in pro sport leagues across the globe, earning Jay-Z a cut of every single one.
His music has almost become secondary. What's the old saying? I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman.
Now, this is someone who's dealing crack at the age of 13. Everything was stacked against this guy. And look at him now. Whenever Jay-Z hit a wall, he built his own ladder to overcome it. He was constantly underestimated. He built a personal brand so strong that everything he touched was now endowed with his iconic swagger. It's a lesson for any business owner in perseverance and the power of your personal brand.
He is a 21-time Grammy winner. He got a house made out of Grammys.
Where is this guy headed next? Jay-Z, as always, will continue to build his empire, seeing every obstacle put in his way as a potential new opportunity to leverage his talents and his passions to expand his empire and to continue to make boatloads of money. This is how you get rich in America.